And there I am. So the stream should be working. Hi, my name is Milos. Everybody knows me as DL, Lucifer. Often they connect me with the devil and the demons and the evil stuff, even it's nothing related to it. I've been in BitShares since the 2017 November. I came as a user, let's say, of OpenLedger and Steam, and I ended up as a biggest father around the ecosystem. So, for one who don't know the story of BitShares, it has been the blockchain with the biggest potential to replace any currency in the world, still incapable of doing it in reality, like any other blockchain around, from 4,338 currencies spawned in the last, let's say, a decade. BitShares has been reaching the top 2 times. Top, when I say top, I mean really top. So we reached second place on CoinMarketCap one time in 2015 and one more time again in 2018. So nobody understood why BitShares disappeared, why it never reached the heights that it needs to reach. Everybody are asking only for the all-time high, which is completely nonsense. Like, when I will cash out my money so I can be gone? That's the most retarded question that anyone can ask in crypto. And when someone is asking me about next all-time high, I'm saying that will be the next normal. Next all-time high will be the next normal. And since the 2-cent price back in November 2020, we are seeing that new normal is going up pretty high. Even when entire markets are red and everything is going down, including the Bitcoin, the BitShares is not going anywhere. So, to not scratch the head too much, I will cut to the chase and point with the topics. But something is going on, and nobody understands what's going on, when it will happen, why it's happening, why I'm here, who am I, who is the team behind BitShares, what happened to Daniel Larimer, what happened to this, that guy. So it's all just wow. Yeah, it's heavy to digest. By some... Yes, you can go and pee in toilet. That is my boy. He will be disturbing the... Close the door. Close the door. Thank you. So, yeah, he's been following bitches same as I do. So all day, all night, average 16 to 20 hours a day for the past 3.5 years without any day off. What I know a lot. What happened, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Even the one who claims they know, and they present themselves as benefactors, advocates, believers into the ecosystem and the project, their actions are actually saying much more worse things about them. So we will start with the beginning and the inception of the BitShares and the stolen 250 million BTS from the Genesis date that nobody knew about until not even now. Many know about it. Even it was patched in 4.0 and it's visible, and CoinMarketCap suddenly had 250 million more in a circulating supply. They haven't noticed that something wrong happened. Go there. Okay. So this is not official. This is me clearing up with the rest of the world what happened and what's happening in BitShares, because everybody are confused. Some are fudding, some are asking, some are joining the trip and everything, but actually nobody knows the truth, to be honest. So we go back to 2014. the big boom is preparing to happen. We have on the team Daniel Larimer, aka the Byte Master. We have Charles Hodgkinsons. We have two investors that people are not talking about now, and they were the original founders of the BitShares. So that's Jerry Liu, Xiao Liu, aka BitCrab, and Mr. Magic Johnson in crypto investment world, aka Bo Shen, currently known as the founder of Ethereum Foundation, first investor in Ethereum, helping Vitalik to be where he is today. When Bush Capital invested after they left BitShares into Polkadot, VeChain, even the Block one, and they invested quite a lot of money. So, but that doesn't stop there. They were the first company that was approved by China to make the crypto investments and start investing into innovations, blockchain innovations and DLT technologies. Unfortunately, BitShares team, despite the veterans who are still around, had some pretty big noobs and amateurs and idealists and patriots, and business doesn't tolerate such people. Never did and never will. So if you come back that you're launching an innovation that will change the world, supposedly change the world, and then you end up in launching the worst corruption system ever, that is worse than any government, and buzz off in the middle of the launch and finishing a bunch of stuff and doing that 3 times in a row, that pretty much sums up how much you're serious about anything that you do and how much you will deliver anything that you started until the end. So Daniel Larimer and Charles Hodgkinsons, before the actual launch of the project, are having some big dispute that nobody wants to talk about, not even them. They are splitting. Charles is going to Vitalik and they are trying to conceive Ethereum blockchain. Daniel Larimer is staying still around and he's trying hard to deliver stealth and another bunch of stuff. In the meantime, the launch is happening 2015, but there is one problem. So BitShares 2.0 in the Genesis file is having a negative balances, and 250 million BTS is gone. Nobody notices because they are gone as a negative balances. So the blockchain is starting with minus 250 million balances, and the moment when he cashed them out to some specific accounts, it's presenting its circulating supply as 0 because the original Genesis file had minus 250 million starting balance. So that was found pretty quickly. That we will not discuss that, but the actual patch that's visible on the blockchain happened in 2020 with the Core 4.0 release, where I was the worker manager and where the whole twist around BitShares is happening, but we'll come to that later. And nobody knows where 250 million BTS went. So Charles left BitShares. Daniel Larimer was launching his baby, the baby that is changing the world, the opposition to the Bitcoin, and somehow they all missed in the Genesis file minus 250 million balances. I don't think so. Well, or they were that proud and ignorant, or they were not so intelligent as they speak, or they don't have the goals that they are presenting they have. So whenever they are ready to speak about it, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, and we can have it one-on-one publicly, because nobody ever asks some questions. So Inception and stolen 250 million BTS ends like Daniel Larimer is leaving to Steam. Vitalik is coming back to pick up the Bo Shen, our main investor. Bo Shen and BitCrab are splitting in a way, but not really splitting. BitCrab is staying and taking over the entire management of the blockchain. Boshen is enabling him to have a fiat gateway for its need in China. If anyone was asking themselves how that's possible that you have a fiat gateway for a smart asset in a China where that should not be possible, because that gateway was operating even the year when the Bitcoin was banned. So we understand now that the forces are pretty strong. They have a lot of money and influence. Boshen is going to Ethereum. Even the book Out of Ether was released last year, where you can read up everything what I was saying about moving. We are even mentioned as a project inside that book. So it's not a conspiracy theory. There is no conspiracy theory. There is or a conspiracy or a theory about no. And Boshen is leaving to Ethereum. Charles Hoskinson again leaving Ethereum when the Boshen is coming, because he have a different opinion about how to start a crypto project. So Charles is being for the for-profit and corporate use, while Boshen and the crew around Vitalik are being into non-profit foundation, aka the Ethereum Foundation. Again, they are not agreeing. Charles is leaving and starting up Cardano, current ADA. Daniel is already in Steam with Ned Scott, and they're eating blue and red pill already. Everybody knows what happened next. But in BitShares there is a, how to say, a big shit show. Pardon my language, video is not for kids, so there is no need to be polite too much. I can be professional, but I don't have to be polite. So we finally come to the point where everything starts to cook into the wrong direction. So community is being split at the very own launch. The founder and the main dev is gone, main two devs are gone, main investors are gone, and BitCrowd is left with a lot of BTS and Chinese community that he need to manage, advertise, and expand BitShares, where he has the connections and leads. And he's doing it quite well. So BitShares is growing, mostly thanks to China. On the other hand, the other group is the Stan Larimer, the godfather of BitShares, father to brand, who's being left to manage the blockchain that he not really understands by himself, and that's where the problem occurs. So Dan left, there is no developer that Stan can communicate with, there is a bunch of other side, and there is the Europe in the middle, which is just a disaster. So nicknames like Ken Code and Christoph Herring and la 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 are people that you should stay away in crypto if you ever see them anywhere. Why? Because that's just bad people. That's just bad people. They would F their own mother if they will profit from it. So a snake skin and a corporate German, very twisted mind. Also, after Dan left, helped the destroy of BTS and its value by not delivering stealth that they took money and the supply for, and promised and promised and promised, and it was never finished in the end. So Inception and the whole hive is pretty much ending the same year and the next year, despite the efforts of China, that is the biggest activity on the blockchain, and the USA, that is being completely forgotten and ignored by the blockchain. For what reason, nobody knows. Some are having private issues, some are whatever. Stan and Michael, despite their lack of technical knowledge, they had a lot of bravery and balls and boldness to advertise BitShares and go to talk on events from what they could sum up with their knowledge on the modern technologies such as blockchain that nobody understood. Even Daniel Larimer himself, who made it, designed it, coded it, didn't understand that logic that he speaks and logic that he writes is not the same. So There was no any side to blame except the founder of the code itself and the lack of maturity for them to polish their relationship. Because if Charles and Dan stayed on BitShares and delivered what they promised from the beginning until the end, BitShares would be now I can sign everything what I have, #1 blockchain on the coin market cap and in general in the world. So they are buzzing off, everything is falling apart, and that's the inception and the beginning of an end. So 2017 I'm joining, a few other very nice quality people and minds, intelligent people are joining the same year, probably the last chain. What's happening in the meantime, in that same 2017, just before I came into the blockchain, is that there is a lot of gateways, they're all having healthy liquidity, it's ICO year, it's boom, everybody are investing, there is plenty of scams, and there are millions of dollars of real cash that are flowing in the crypto, but nothing is being real, nothing. BitShares is closest to, BitShares and Steam at that time are closest to reality of being blockchain that will have a use case or a purpose. Stan and Michael are desperately trying to balance and level up the blockchain and the consensus, and they are picking up Annemieke DEXes, who was the founder of the BitShares Blockchain Foundation. As soon as they founded the BitShares Blockchain Foundation, they started having problems again. The Stan and Michael are staying on the side, and they are being the owner of the BitShares.org domain as a company in the United States that now coming to the point with all the regulations that are coming, they have to move away the domain from its ownership and have to give it somewhat more agile, in jurisdictional way, in legal terms, in everything what is being handled. And I lost my thoughts. I'm sorry guys, it's 7 a.m. but I have to finish this. It has to be cleared and that's it. So we are having the one and only opportunity to level up the blockchain, and they're making it a problem. Not they as a Stan, Michael, or BBF itself. They as an entire ecosystem that should work in a unity. In that moment, they are falling apart. So the United States doesn't have one node that it can connect to. I remember it really well. Failed to broadcast transaction everywhere, and the fastest and the most prosperous blockchain with biggest potential ever as a technology, not as a DEX or a token or whatever, as a tech, is being inaccessible to the half of the globe. Why? Nobody was ever able to explain. BBF was just founded, they were just becoming an escrow, and they were just having a first worker on the infrastructure. I attacked on that time Dr. Engineer Fabian Schuch and Stefan Scheisse, and I was wrong. They were having their working hours, they were doing as a corporate, they were waiting to pass the holiday. So as a impatient and aggressive serve, I was ignoring that. I got a pretty nice sum up of everything from Stefan at that time on forums. I got pretty not nice welcoming message from Fav on that time, who was questioning why I want to know more details about the infrastructure. And we are coming into the point where I'm with Ross and APH Tech starting to move the nodes into the BitShares. We are starting from the USA. There is a lot of evidence on the Steam. It lasted for 8-9 months. The DAO Street, John Robert Conlin and his partner at that time are joining to help, and we are somewhere before the March 8th, we're having about 20 nodes together that we are funding from our own pocket, and most is being funded by Mr. Marco Martinuzzi, that I will use this opportunity thank him. He was the guy who moved away one amount of BitShares directly to me and said, literally with these words, you know, now it's time for you to go play and show them what you can do. So there was no agreement. I got suddenly cash from nowhere, and I wasn't the owner of the domain on that time. I wasn't even having some performance or workers or anything. It was just 2018. I got the cash and I was like, what I'll do now. So instead of spending it all and investing in stupid, I put some into the collateral and taken out the debt in BitUSD. On that time, BitUSD was amazing. We were seeing all-time high on that time. Luckily, I was having a nice collateral ratio for my first margin position in my life on a blockchain, and I didn't call the margin, but I barely taken out my head on my shoulders with more than $5,000 BitUSD debt when it was crashing from 30 to 17, 13 and lower and lower and lower. In March 2018, Cryptonomics, Stan Larimer and Michael Taggart are approaching Ross, APH Tech and myself to become a caretaker of the BitShares.org domain. And Ross was jumpy, they were in a hurry, I was very diligent and very slow, and I didn't want to do anything quickly because that was just not that simple, and I was not just that stupid or that greedy to hold the domain that will give me some authority or some power and a brand that is so popular, because I will have nothing except problems from it. And I was 90% right, yeah. The moment when we got the domain as a caretaker for 1 year, which became later a permanent decision, and the Morgan Institute became elected legal representative and owner of the domain as a non-profit organization in Slovenia. We spin the domain to APH Tech. I got attacked by entire community. So entire community attacked me like I took the knife and cut off the throat from Daniel Larimer, not took the domain to save it, because the authorities were coming for us and nobody was getting that in a head. Like, we are decentralized, authorities cannot do nothing to us. Yeah, Dumbo. So we moved the domain name. Instead of losing the actual people, and instead of losing the community started growing. BBF, who at that time started the action against us as a BitShares.org new legal owner of the domain, and even summed up a worker where she was asking the community to vote for the worker so they can deny legally BitShares.org as the official domain name and use whatever they had in mind at that time. Fortunately for the blockchain ecosystem and myself, there was a lot of unique, good people with ethics and morals in place. That was not only Marko Martinuzzi from MOV Institute Slovenia, but as well from the long-term contributions and dedication to the blockchain itself, regardless of where they were employed. So I suddenly started collecting a lot of knowledge directly from the source of the knowledge, learning politics, meeting trustee for the workers in Thailand, organizing the redesign of the BitShares.org domain name with Rich and the crew, and 2018 is ending up really nice. Really nice. So we had a bunch of workers, we had a bunch of progress, we had a new and very fast and beautiful BitShares.org website, We had a wallet UI team that was managed reference wallet for the BitShares. We had a little bit busy core team, and I'll be getting too big in 2019, but we will come to that point. And BitShares is just the beginning of everything what is now in BitShares. So let's say that me stepping in, few selected people from the blockchain itself, so Stan Lerner, Michael Taggart, I don't need to name who else, but so 12 people, 2018 is doing the right thing by trust, because we don't have any valid agreements between each other, and hoping for the best for the blockchain. Do you call it karma, or do you call it whatever, destiny, things made to happen? I cannot define, really. There was a lot of accidents and coincidences that were happening at the same time, or sequentially, like in a sequence. So they were coming in they were just coming one by one by one. People were definitely picking the right choices. They were making the right moves, and we were creating a community within the community. So there was a group that was called BTS Musketeers. It had only 3 members. One was the really important person for the entire blockchain development, Fabian Schuch. Another one was Alex Megalonokomous, the Greek guy that you know probably as Clockwork. We lost him 2018 because of the Chinese and a few others, but we are trying to get them back. So thanks to Fabian Schuch and Alex, the Xerox in Clockwork, to be more familiar with the devs, I was helped to not be ignorant, to not be aggressive, to learn the truth about the BitShares and the blockchain, to take their perspective and to reanalyze it from my own perspective, my own point of view, because they were also not familiar with the entire truth, but they had pretty decent amount of the information that blockchain and the community ignorantly didn't have. 2018, I'm writing and I'm starting pushes about making the BitShares.org legal, demands for the gateways to provide more transparent liquidity, communicate us who they are, what they are, because as a domain owner on a wallet.bitshares.org, any gateway that is listed, and we list their deposits and withdrawals, the government doesn't really care, because it's a third-party service. It's on my domain. The institute, me as a CEO of institute, is legally responsible for the domain and the content of the domain, and from 2019 regulatory bodies are saying the next thing. If you are owner of the domain and that domain has anything that looks like an ordered book, it's an exchange, and you need a license for an exchange. Is it decentralized? Is it on blockchain? Is it a marketplace for the other gateways and businesses on top of the blockchain? That regulatory bodies just don't have. They don't know, and it's not defined. So you cannot go against something defined and say, because this is not defined, we will do it that way and we will not have responsibility. Okay, then you take the BitShares.org domain name, you put all the gateways on it, you put your name as an owner, and that's okay. Nobody did it. So everybody avoided for half a decade to take the BitShares brand, stick it on themselves, but they are all enjoying calling themselves Open Ledger, First BitShares, Decentralized Exchange. Even they were centralized entities that were actually holding your wallets and your money in the middle. No open source, no nothing. You cannot see the gateways, you cannot see the liquidity, you cannot do nothing, and you don't know where is your cash. But they were using the brand of BitShares and the hype of Decentralized Asset Exchange as that they are the one. And that damage will come later in the story. But the bottom line of 2018, nobody is picking up the BitShares brand. Nobody is willing to go along with the regulatory bodies and the legal requirements. In 2018 is pretty much finishing like an empty talk with a bunch of new workers that are doing something nice, and that's all. 2019, the title is named BitShares dPOS, the digital state corporate crime. For someone who doesn't know what's state corporate crime and why the name is being given as it is for the title, I will explain and try to explain in a plastic way so any viewer, any average Joe can understand. If we take that Daniel Larimer wanted to create an ecosystem with its own governance as a blockchain, we would be saying that that's a state. That's a digital state that has rules, regulatory bodies, and businesses who are paying the fees to the taxes to the state by living, operating on it, in it. Now, the state main goal when we have a state and we have laws and regulations is to make sure that the businesses are obeying the rules of the state. They are not compromising or corrupting the state and changing the state laws for their own profits or personal benefits against the state. Or the state is helping the businesses to break the law, so the state or someone from the state will be having a personal profits for their own interests. So BitShares as a dPOS that Daniel Larimer conceived was in a beginning, on Inception day, was not just a state corporate crime, but it is a crime by inception. So starting from 250 million lost, stolen BTS that nobody can trace in, by having no future for the very own creation that can change the world actually in some normal sense, not in a sense of patriotism and changing the people. You cannot change the people, you can only show them the way. It's up to them what they will choose and decide, and that's known for thousands of years. So we are coming to the state corporate crime. In 2019, a bunch of workers is being spawned. The blockchain is funding that year nearly $2 million on the price of a BTS that is less than 7 cents, which is not normal. On that circulating supply, that remain in a reserve pool, and that price of a token, by taking out that money from the blockchain, you are definitely willing to destroy the blockchain, to bring the reserve pool to zero, to take out everything into the circulating supply, and then to spin it around until you make the profits and until it's dead. So in 2019, BIOS is being launched. BIOS is BitShares EOS blockchain, founded by Daniel Larimer and Michael Taggart, PCLA Group. They did it legit this time, they did it properly this time. Dan Notestein, who is the founder of the first actual legal swap for BitShares team and all the different products and crypto in the US, was the one who was managing the code and delivery of that blockchain. So in the code we trust. It was Dan Notestein. They didn't scam anyone. They took BTS that were willingly given by the community to stake and lock in exchange for BIOS, moonfall, snowfall, whatever was on that time, raindrops. Not important, I'm not following the drops part because I'm never part of any drop. Forgive me for ignorance. Now, Michael and Stan were pissed by the community and pissed by the entire blockchain and pissed by even the own beginning, and that lasted for that, on that moment, for them longer than 2015. For them it was lasting late 2013 until 2019. It's nearly 6 years. So they were not so happy about the things that were happening. Yeah, important part, 2018 to 2019, we are having one big issue, and that's that we are launching BSIC 42, and that will be explained later, BitUSD is going to global settlement and losing the price, and that's how we lost the stable coins. But I will come back to it later. 2019, go back. BIOS is being launched. It's April. Michael wants to smash the hammer on the community, and he wants to lock the workers. He wants to lock everything, and they authentically wants to take over the reserve pool because they see no more solutions after 6 years and everything what they try to do with lack of technical knowledge, without understanding who to trust and who to work with. They are without solutions. So me being close to them, I'm calling them and I'm saying to Michael, if you do that, you will just prove the community exactly right about you being wrong for all these years. And if you don't want to do that and they cannot do nothing to you, you can show actually that you are who you claim you are, vote you and stand. And if you don't know who to vote on and how to use that all BTS, you can replicate my votes on the blockchain. Who am I voting on? BIOS can vote on, and that's it. So he took it really nice, and for a change he did listen to advice, and they didn't make a problem. On the other hand, Chinese party is getting stressed because BIOS is not making problem. They were being provoked to make the problem, so they can make a problem, bigger problem, and finally have a reason to remove Stan Vladimir from the blockchain, which was not really a nice thing to do, especially even if someone doesn't give you the value in the technical terms or give you the investors or whatever. He did a lot of good stuff for the blockchain that you cannot just ignore. Whatever he did wrong, nobody's perfect. And everything has to be sorted in public always. That's why I love blockchain and that's why I love it. So in 2019, in June, the BIOS only wants one worker, NABTS, Las Vegas event. So North American BitShares conference. That was the idea. They are getting the worker approved. The politics are being organized really well. I'm getting all sides to agree. Everybody are supporting. But there is a catch-22, like always. So I'm being naive. I'm trusting into consensus, into unity. I'm trusting that if everybody communicate and agree that everything will be okay. And then I'm being summed up to a call with general manager of the call worker in 2019, Ryan R. Fox, two Chinese, and one is called Charles, that I don't know even who he is. But they have an idea. So idea number one is to remove any BTS worker and BIOS. Idea number two is to remove BBF as an escrow and a legal representative. Idea number three is that they don't remove them by vote, so they don't have the problem, but I create the problem because Move Institute is the second legal representative and the BitShares are the main owner and escrow for the NABTS worker. So the moment when I'm joining that call, I'm starting to understand that it's all organized crime. So they're all divided in groups, they are all looking for the private interest and profits, and they all have a solution for already existing business that works, that they actually placed there as a state. But they are not happy with it, and they will not remove it as a state. They will bring another business that will take out that business from a state, so they can manipulate the state in a better way they want to do. I'm saying no, and no again, and pretty much it becomes, for the BBF, I was very clear. Nobody knew that I had a call with Annemieke in May 2018, and that call, even she was expecting a small, short, ugly Korean that will come and say, "But I have your domain name, I not give you nothing." That was not me. And I said that we are not a competition, that we are a second choice for the blockchain, that will not interfere into their work, that we will use them as an escrow because we are not capable of doing escrow at that moment. They have accounting system, experience, everything, the setup. And we are not on a par with them, and that's it. So we cannot compete. That was realistic, and that was 2018. I knew nothing about everything, and I was just learning. They were the first mover. I respected that. I was the second mover. We were the second mover, Mov Institute, and I was very okay to keep that position without having BBF ever. So if the holders want to remove the BBF that they voted in, they had to remove it by themselves. And if they do so, then the Mov Institute will be coming to offer to be new legal representative. So I always played fair with everyone. I did told Fabian, as being my friend, that BBF will probably be cleaned up in 2019. He didn't trust me. He didn't believe. The Chinese were super pissed because they cannot remove any BTS, they cannot remove the BBF, and I'm not willing to collaborate. They were not strong enough, and their biggest opposition in trading on a blockchain was another Chinese who is named Baozi Alt and living somewhere in Australia as a magnate, textile magnate or something like that, and investing heavily in BitShares by buying the margin calls from the other Chinese group called CN Volt now, when they call the margin with their poor margin setups and ratios. Sorry guys, I'm getting pissed every time when I talk about this. There's plenty of things that I'm trying to sum up in less than an hour. So 2019, Chinese are being very disappointed, and suddenly the price of 5 cents is dropping and dying to 2 cents, then 1.8. Someone called it price attack from an exchange, and if you take a look from it, which exchange, it was the Chinese exchange. Chinese listed us on that exchange, and that exchange even didn't have enough liquidity to make that price attack that it did. But they did it organized, and someone probably from the Chinese group asked that exchange to do so. The witnesses picked up the price, the rest of the oracles around the globe picked up the price. A lot of other exchanges picked up the price because the volume was horrible. And what happened? BitShares and BitUSD are suddenly being locked. They are not being anymore MPA and smart coins that are market-pegged assets by another real asset. They are not having the price feeds that are showing the real price and the value 1.8 or 2 cents. Why? Because about $20 million in collateral calls of BitShares holders and BitUSD holders would be called, and the blockchain will be getting the money back because they have a bad debts on a blockchain for years. And we are coming to the new problem of the BitShares blockchain. We are now having a state corporate crime where all corporations and the state are united to destroy the state. Not to improve the state, to destroy the state. And all their actions that they are doing, nobody knows about them except me on that time, are towards destroying the state. So we have a fixed price fees, we have a halt on all workers, we have ceased fundings from the blockchain, and we have suddenly a group of Chinese holders that are telling us that everything will be okay, that someone is stealing money, that the price is down, and that we cannot have workers anymore. So imagine now, on that moment, blockchain holds around 12 distinguished professionals that you cannot find if you look with a magnifying hole on Freelancer, in the corporate world, on a job seeker websites. Wherever you want to look for them, you will not find those people. Those people are distinguished, unique, special, and everything what goes to it, and they are not like that because I love them or because they are my colleagues or my friends. They are like that because they really are those people with those qualities. And the biggest quality that is most important is that they all have ethics and moral in place. You don't have to discuss with them what's right and what's wrong. There is no gray for them. There is white and there is black. And they stay out from the black and they try as much as possible to be white. You cannot be always white because sometimes to remove the stain, you have to use some nasty shit to remove it. You cannot just use the water. It's not just, I will use the water and it's gone. No, that's for normal dirt, dust, a little bit some easy stain from nature or whatever. But if you have an oil stain, a wine stain, you have to use some nasty shit to remove the stain. Really nasty shit. It's dangerous, it's toxic, you cannot eat it and you cannot swallow it like water because you will die. It's a poison. So you have to use the poison to remove the stain. Let's consider that suddenly the entire holders who are convinced that they are doing something okay are actually destroying the blockchain, and they don't know what's right or wrong, and it all smells like a refinance scheme for free. So let's do like this. Binance and all the other exchanges, DEXes, will report that the BitShares price is 1.8 cent, so $0.018. The BitShares blockchain at the same time, and all 21, 25, 30 witnesses at the time, will report that the price of a BitUSD against BTS and BitSNI against BTS is, guess what? 3.5 cents, 3.44, 3.46. So 0.0346 cent dollar is the price that we report on the blockchain. So CoinMarketCap very soon delist both BitUSD and BitUSD and BitSNI because they don't have a sense anymore. They're not even showing the real price, they're not showing the real volumes, they're not showing the real liquidity, everything is gone. They halted all the workers. There is no developers that will update the API, go and explain to CoinMarketCap and anyone else, and they're doing that in the middle of the year when the CoinMarketCap is starting a legal data phase 1. So everybody have to deliver the new API requirements for the CoinMarketCap. We are stopping the development. We are stopping a lot of workers. Somehow the escrow is fighting to go to decentralized, which doesn't have a point if you don't invest more money after the event to just stay in contact with the people that you establish contact with on the event. Because if you come to them and say, yeah, we have everything, but we don't know what to do with you, or we don't have the funds, they will not do nothing with you. Nobody wants to do nothing with anyone who doesn't have the funds. That was since forever. Nobody touches the poor people. Why? Because they are poor. What they can do, that's first thought that everybody has. If you're not dressed up, if you look like shit like me, and blah blah blah, nobody's seeing me appear like this last 3 years while I was digging all this information. But nobody cares about you until you prove that you are different and that you have a value besides what someone can see from outside. So we don't have the budget, we don't have the workers, we don't have development, we don't have the marketing, we don't have nothing. But guess what? We still have the market making contest organized by the Chinese voters and holders, and money is now not stolen from the reserve pool, it's being taken from the committee account. That is a public treasure. So he's the treasury. He managed the treasury. He's picking up the fees from the assets that he owns, BitUSD, BitSNI, Bit everything, and he's making sure that everything goes back to the blockchain, so the reserve pool stay positive. No, they spent it all in less than 6 months, but the workers were not okay to be funded. The only 2 workers that were funded until the end was that event, decentralized, and my work at BitShares.org, not because it was important, but because I had people that signed the agreement for 1 year, and they fucked off from everything else in their life so they can have their job and then shitty salary that they had. So, or I turn off .org, or you enable the worker. On that moment, I already started using something that was not anymore negotiation, not anymore typical politics. It was a blackmail. it was a strong word. It was a hand on table, so it actually can make a difference, because they were ruthless. They were ignorant towards 20 people that were employed by the blockchain to do the good thing, the the biggest professionals that someone can see, the most hardworking people, and the most intelligent people I ever met. Not because of their degrees, not because of the logic they possess and they can analyze, they can design, because they really put themselves into it. And I haven't seen that. I'm 35 years old. In April I will be 36. I'm working practically since I was 13 in an IT, internet shops, administration, networking administration, blah blah blah, until 17. Then I'm starting my first internet support real job in IT. But I never seen it. I seen one person, and that was a CEO of a German company with office in Belgrade, Serbia. One person, and it was a woman, a CEO woman, Macedonian one. And that's it. Then I came to BitShares and I found 20 of them nearly that are like, boom, wow, you are like polar bears. I cannot lose you ever. Even if BitShares is going to shit show and never come back, I cannot lose you as people. You're too valuable. We can do many things together. And that was the problem. So 2019, they're halting everything. They're coming to the BitShares DEX group that is now abandoned and saying Habit Mode is a scammer, which is idiocracy. Idiocracy, total idiocracy. And only the community that is completely idiotic and retarded can create such idiocracy. CN Vote is sending us a representative of the CN Vote that will discuss in a group with foreigners as a Chinese representative why they halted the workers, when we'll get back the workers, who is stealing the money and whatever, why the price feeds are locked and stuff like that. So the guy is coming, and first or second day, everybody are trying to suck in and preserve their jobs and salaries to stay in BitShares. He's sending us to read on the forums a Chinese statement in Chinese. So he's sending around 7,000 foreign English speaking reading members to read Chinese. I understand there is a translate, but on a decision where you halt the entire, let's take as an example. I'm a BMW fan. There are a lot of Germans in this world and non-Germans that appreciate and love the BMW same as I do. So BMW, Porsche, they stand for the quality, for the bespoke quality, power, strength that no other car have. And that car date pretty long, so they have a history. If there is a problem in the BMW factory, they will not stop the entire factory, entire production line, and fire everyone to find the problem in the factory. They have something called HR that is doing human resources. They have a PR that will do the public relations for the problem that the factory experienced, for any delays in the production line, problems, whatever. But they will not stop the factory. Stopping the factory means you're losing the money. Unless what? You will use the brand and the factory to take the loan from the bank, which on blockchain is the refinancing by yourself, and get more power while the factory is not working and you don't give a damn about it. So I'm saying that this is all smelling like a scheme, and I'm not giving any significant, like, oh, I trust you, yeah, let's wait. And I'm dropping the BitShares DEX group. Everybody is saying slow down, they're friendly, we have to talk, we have to communicate. After 3.5 years, what I have been doing around BitShares, if someone comes so ignorantly without even discussing with me what they plan to do, and we are all together there, and they are doing it just because they have money and power given by Daniel Larimer and his fucked up logic and design from the early days, yeah, this has to be changed. So I'm not playing nice anymore. It's 6th of September. I left the group. I'm calling Mark Martinuzzi in Slovenia and I'm saying, you have to do something. and you cannot ask me why, but it has to be done or BitShares is gone. And he's saying what I have to do. I'm saying we need to register a trademark in EU for the BitShares. Later we will do the worldwide, but we need to register an EU trademark for the BitShares. Say no problem. Find me the classes, what need, and I will do. We're looking for the classes for about 7 days to make sure that we are picking the right classes, because there was no example for the trademark in the blockchain. Nobody did it. The Cryptonomics Innovation tried in the past to register in the US, but the classes were not correct and it was never registered. They never came back to it. Registering trademark for it would be a suicide mission for them, inevitable. So luckily they didn't got it. There was some idiotic company from Germany that registered a trademark on a logo they don't own. And then there was us who registered a proper trademark with all the classes. So submission of the trademark done 13, submission approved 1 month later, and 3 months later, voila, 2020, we have the trademark. Before the trademark was actually done, I came back to the groups, start being active, and start discussing with few holders on that time from the Vision group about what we will do next, because the BitShares blockchain cannot be halted forever. At least development cannot. If the core is not being maintained and developed, the blockchain will hold, stop, and that will be the end of it. And if we don't have special developers that holders never appreciated or understood anything about them, we would not be having blockchain. So Thule, who is the right hand for Baozialt, is starting to discuss with me. The thing that I remember about him from 2018, he was dumb, ignorant and loud, and I was telling him to be quiet both on forums in a chat. He became, in the meantime, he came back and he started being smart, discussing gold, the future of the world, the global reset and stuff like that. So he had some mind and something to it. It was not really like wow, but yeah, okay, he's not that dumb. He was maybe ignorant, he was maybe upset, stressed. I was not much different when I joined first time 2017, so I can understand the notion that he had. We started discussing, I started pitching him to see whose side he's sitting on. He's not with the Chinese, he's not with the BIOS, he don't want to remove anyone, he was looking friendly, but he was not saying all the truth. And he was trying to use me just so Baozin him can get the BSIP Day 1, which is Improvement Protocol proposal, approved and done, integrated into core, if I become the core manager. So again, we come back to the state corporate crime. I'm having a holder that is having another holder. They are together holding 360 million BTS. They can negotiate with Chinese or whoever to add 200 missing, and I can be the next core manager. But I don't have the core team, and I was not accepting it so light and easy. He suggested me. I started collecting the people from the core. I realized that there is no people on the core. There are only Michelle Santos, Alfredo Garcia, John Jones, and Christopher Sanborn. That were the only devs left. Alfredo Garcia was not interested to stay for longer, and he was just coming on a break one time. John Jones is a really professional. He really has a big talent. But they had an issues with the main core developer, a bit more, the anonymous guy that nobody knows his face, his real name, nobody ever saw it. Some did, early investors did. They probably didn't knew at the time who was he, they just knew he was a dev, but yeah. So a bit more and me have to do the worker manager, the core worker, together if I want to become a manager and if you want to reinstate the blockchain. Now what I missed in this 1 hour of video is that Abit was my worst enemy from the beginning of the blockchain. So he was overprotecting the blockchain when I wanted to invest into the blockchain. He was overprotecting the blockchain when I want to take out the money for the salary that I'm working for, even it was always poor and nothing. And he was always there when the Chinese are doing something wrong and I was blaming him for it. I even had so nasty fights with him, arguments that I was starting, he was not even arguing. And I was telling him, I used to tell him bad words and call him really nasty names. And that was the moment when I was ignorant, but from my perspective, he was the #1 enemy of the blockchain who is supporting the corrupted holders. And I couldn't understand really why he was not doing nothing about it and why he was just keeping up with it. So 2019, before that worker starting and me discussing with Vitule, the founder of the See and Vote group, who actually did the shit show about the blockchain 2019, is named Bit Professor. Bit Professor is coming to me in November to tell me that he was wrong about BIOS and that if I'm still in touch with them, to tell them that they were never enemy of the blockchain. So I'm having a Chinese that I never spoke nothing with, and that on that time I don't know that he's the founder of the See and Vote and what's actually happening, coming to me in Telegram and telling me something so big like that. A Chinese admitting that Stan Larimer was not the problem of the blockchain. Why you do that? I didn't have idea. So Abit and me are starting to design the worker. The American team is being moved on the other side because we are doing the different. I had to split them. They don't communicate well together. Abit's English is not so well. He can be very nasty and short in some responses, which people can take too personally. And then the problem comes. So I was the middle filter between the American devs and Abit, who is a Chinese dev. During that notion, Abit was actually authentically helping me to design the worker, to be part of all groups, to negotiate everything with all the holders, including the Chinese. We spent months just adding into the WeChat. He was approving the funds, he was agreeing with nearly everything what I said, and we came during the design of the worker to this discussion of this is not going what if they not restore the entire consensus? What if they not restore the workers? What if this is just us being played again to do something for them, and after we do it, we will have nothing again and they will have whatever they want. So Abit gave me a document that was a BitShares improvement proposal written by him. Author of the proposal was him. And the proposal was saying removal of collateral voting. So for you who don't know what means collateral voting, usually if you go and put an equity, a property, as a collateral to a bank is the owner of your collateral for the cash being given to you. And if you fail to pay, the bank will just claim your equity. In the normal cases, you can sell the property, the equity, by the bank, but it has to be done by the bank. You cannot just sell it and bring cash to the bank and say, yeah, I just sold the property and I have your cash still, and this is what I sold from the property. No, you have to do it by the bank. So in BitShares blockchain, you had a bug, intentional bug, where you have, let's say, 100 million BTS, and BTS is worth $1. By the default original logic, you should be staking minimum 180% of the collateral in BTS to borrow 100% of any currency you want, bit USD, bit SNI, bit Euro, bit GBP, whatever. So the Chinese had a fixed price feeds, so they were stealing the amount of the BTS by doing some crazy arbitrage between their gateway, the DEXes, where they can buy low, sell it high to another idiot Chinese on the DEX, wait for the global settlement and the raise of the price and stuff like that. They were having a pretty nice game ongoing there. And the bottom line was that they would be having 100 million of BTS. They would go and borrow 80 million of BTUSD, for example. And then they would be buying the BTS back. And guess what? The collateral amount of BTS, 100 million, plus 80 million worth of BTS they purchased would be combined and their power would be nearly doubled. So that's not really okay, yeah? Buying power for money is already wrong. That's why we moved away from the government and from the traditional sense of the law and the how we apply the law to the blockchain, where we can not think about the law or the logic or the rules. The blockchain will just in a merciless way just apply it, and nobody can stop it. But the consensus and dPOS are giving the power to holders to stop it. So after I seen that Abit wrote in 2018 a document that is saying, yes, you are corrupted, this is the solution and it should be done, and then I seen Fabian discussing with Abit, and even my own comment that, but somehow I missed that Abit was the author on that time. I'm realizing that Abit is not the enemy of the blockchain. He is just a core developer that is respecting the consensus, and consensus is broken and it's not his problem. The holders needs to be by his knowledge and by his perspective as a developer. Consensus needs to say we are corrupted and this needs to be fixed, and it has to be approved by the consensus. AB didn't knew on that time that they had a discussion with a few core developers on the other side, and I was discussing some changes to the blockchain, such as vote DK, no collateral voting, and stake lock voting like on Steam. So the most important part is that when I talked with other devs, we discussed that we need about 6 months to deliver that code, and it will not be guaranteed it will work. There is no guarantees. So how you know it will work? We will risk everything just to not be able to do nothing. At the same time, I told David that I was just realizing how wrong I was about him for all that time, him just respecting the consensus as a dev. I started doing a little bit better research on the guy that I was wrong about. First by starting with an apology that was repeating a few times, and then doing a research that actually nobody ever did. So if you start from BCP 1 in 2015, there was Fabian Schuch, Daniel Larimer, and a bit more. And until BCP 86, there is a bit more. So while we were hyping and following the byte master, the big guy behind the graphic, the 3 graphene that was never finished, he dropped them all. We ignored the Abit who actually stayed on BitShares, on Steam, on Yoyo, and in the end was even part of the Hive blockchain, and holds in his tiny crazy head, or big crazy head, I don't know how he will look like, the biggest knowledge about the graphene BitShares technology and the graphene in general blockchains that anyone knows, is capable to have. So what he can read, what he can deploy, what he can code, what he can design, and what he can understand, group of 6 people who are the same skills like him, I mean the same, they are from the same skill set, but not the same skills, definitely, cannot do what he can do in less than a month alone. So 4.0 is happening in a way where I'm telling Abit in March, I believe, no, in February, late February, one more apology, and I'm saying to him, MIT license says there is no warranty on the software. The law says that the developer is the owner of the software. Developer who is the owner of the software on a GitHub must be an owner. A bit more owner of organization, along with Fabian Schuch, Dan Oldstein, and on that time I think SVK was as well the owner. And I'm telling him that Mov Institute, as an owner of BitShares.org, trademark owner and a legal representative, and myself personally will do everything in our power to protect him legally and publicly and morally, to make the changes against consensus and against the corrupted holders who drained 3 billion tokens outside the blockchain from in just 5 years, from the 3.6 billion supply, where the token price and value was devaluated to 1.8 cent on that moment. The worker was impossible to have in a normal terms, and less than 600 million left in a blockchain reserve pool with smart coins, the pride of the BitShares blockchain, the first, how they call it nowadays, synth was actually designed on a BitShares blockchain and available in a wallet, reference wallet, since 2015. You were able to click, and in 6 clicks of a mouse and a very simple UI, create any token you wanted. User issued asset, market backed assets, smart coin, stable coin, collateral coin, with a price feed or without price feed, from 2015. So they destroyed it all, and I told David, honestly, if you want to change this and if you can change it, we will do everything that we can to support you. He didn't answer nothing. We continued doing the core work. We agreed that both me and him will do some free hours, so the American guys the other part of the team can cash out more, because we actually weren't doing that core for the cash. We both took minimal payment an hour for the work that was done. And about a week before the activation of 4.0, from let's say 4,000 active users of the blockchain, over 200 developers around the ecosystem, Chinese, Americans, Europeans, this, that, active, not active, irrelevant. Two guys are finding the change in the code and coming straight to me to ask me, do I know something about it? I'm saying, what change? You are the core manager. I am the core manager, but I'm not a C++ developer. A bit more is an audit on that worker for a reason, because he can read the code and I cannot. And what's happening next? Next is happening that person is telling me that Abit did the stake lock, and everything what I said in the past in public that should be done. No, the stake lock voting was not yet diligently improved and delivered. It was just a base, because David was hoping that the holders can come to their senses once the collateral and vote decay is there, but they weren't. They started the war, and they really started the war against me and David solely. So every time when I send them to the Mov Institute to make a legal complaint, nobody would came. They tried desperately for 5.0 that was approved by consensus, to even contact the Binance exchange to tell Binance to not pick up the latest update from the BitShares organization, the GitHub, but to revert the changes to 3.x BitShares so they can have collateral voting again, voting with collateral. Binance was instantly sending me an email. Binance is totally unorganized exchange, so after speaking with 12 people, presenting them trademark and everything what we own, they were still ignorant and nobody was passing information to each other until we came to the Telegram group and I started talking Chinese with them. I must say that in my mind, I truly believe that BitCrab Jerry Liu, is behind the salvation with the Binance. I have a verified information that he listed BitShares originally on Binance, and I truly believe that Binance called him first to ask what is this and what we need to do with this. And he probably sent them to me because Binance didn't have my email before that. That's just logic and sense. So 4.0 is being launched and activated. Holders are getting really unhappy. They want to kill us, destroy us, do whatever they want, but it's not going. September, they are trying to hostile takeover with the Binance and a set of their own block producers. That's already serious crime. And they're failing, and as the result, new BitShares is being launched with all the reverted changes behind and prior to 4.0. So on a new BitShares NBS, which is a scam project, you have a bunch of holders who didn't invest a single dollar to BitShares blockchain for 5 years, for half decade. They ripped it off for more than $3.5 million in half decade. I'm not counting the workers and the escrow. They took $2.5 million. They destroyed the price. They destroyed all the products. They told everyone that we are the problem and that we are stealing money, and then they left to NBS, dumping the BTS on the day of the launch and the listing of NBS on Binance from 7.5 cent to back to 1.8. And I'm saying, okay, you're gone. I will not do nothing. Let's see what we will do next. 10th of September passes, we have the witnesses running, 5.0 is launched, corruption is gone, you have to stake lock and you have to be really retarded to stake lock for fun. Because if you choose to stake lock for 2 years, you're not stake locking for 2 years, you're stake locking until you want to unlock, and when you click unlock, you have to wait 2 years from that moment to get your BTS back from the voting power. So if you want to manage the blockchain, you seriously have to lock BTS and to be a long term here and to have really nice desires for the BitShares blockchain. And in case you're just insane, you have too much money and you will use all of that money to just lock and make it a problem, we still have a bit more that need just 45 minutes to eradicate you from the blockchain. And we have the legal power to do so. And the blockchain as an immutable technology is a proof when someone did something wrong, someone did something correct, and everybody can go and read what happened, if they're willing to go and do the reading. So 2020, it's ending really, nobody see it nice. Everybody are really desperate after 10th of September, the BitShares dumped, we are failing, we are dead, NBS is this, NBS is that. And one of the core developers and myself are sitting one day and talking, what's next? Do you have a plan? I said, yeah, I'm designing one since 2017, but I never had the cash for it, the workers are halted. Yeah, we, by the way, halted the workers, so no more workers, nobody touched the reserve pool, and guess what? We have $3 million in committee account, and the reserve pool increased its supply for more than 10 million BTS in just 3 months. So we must be doing something well, as I'm getting death threats and bunch of other stuff that nobody still knows about. And I'm going to disclose it all in the last part, the rise of the legend. So 2020 was the great reset. 4.0 and 5.0 did the reset. September was nasty. And that reset started on 17th of September. First, I'm getting an inquiry from Bushy Capital, and I'm starting to learn who is Bosch and who is from Bushy Capital, what's the history of BitShares, who was the original founder, who was the original investor, what they really happened, and what power and forces I'm dealing with now. So when I finally thought that the saga of problems is gone after 3.5 years of being a habitant of BitShares, married to the blockchain, whatever, I'm realizing that's not the reality, that we still have problems and that we still have to continue. So on 18th of November, I'm getting a, for now, I will call it anonymous donation of 10 Bitcoin. I'm selling it under the value between 14 and $15,000. So we are having around 148,000 in total in the end from that. And I'm having from a private business another $86,200. So we are having about 220,000 in US that is being converted to USD Tether, and I'm finally being able to push my plan with the BitShares that is now centralized and under full control of Eric Moore and myself, with the blessings of all the other sane people, and yet again 21 block producers that are supporting the good thing that we did. To open up a company for a blockchain is not an easy thing. Non-profit is not enough. Non-profit can raise the funds, can move the funds, but to for-profits. So non-profit sitting on a blockchain by itself, it's not really a goal. It's an end goal. That's why it's called NGO. So no go. And it's just there for a legal reasoning to be left alone from the governments, regulators, and all the problems that we can have. So we are having a legal body, we are having the trademark, we are having the domain name, we are having the brand, we are having the devs, we are having the funds, but if we invest the funds in the devs, we will not be having any result except a better product that nobody knows about, nothing. Daniel Larimer never had on his Wikipedia BitShares mentioned. Charles Hoskinson doesn't have on his private Wikipedia BitShares mentioned. Daniel Larimer on any signature everywhere around any profile is not having BitShares as being a founder, because he never was, he was a developer. The founders was the Chinese, and if you go to HCM Capital, to Fenbushi Capital, to Waterdrip Capital, you will actually find out that I'm telling the truth, and that the Boss Shen and Jerry Liu are the original founders and the investors of the BitShares blockchain. So no, we sold the BTC for 148k. We were selling it in November before the shoot up. So we are taking in total around $230,000. I'm spinning it into trading, some portion of it. It's being diligently paid and done. And we started founding companies. So the original design was to have 3 companies, one for development, one for trading, the DEX, and one that will be the main group that will cover everything that is needed for the other baby companies. The group would be the management group, BitShares Management Group, and BitShares Management Group, after a lot of problems and discussions in the past, with the blessing of my wife to register it, that she's a Thai and we want a strict Thai business and we don't want to interfere with Thailand and we want Thailand to grow as any other country where the BitShares lands. We want to do everything by the law. As I'm not interested in profits, I never was, and I'm not chasing money, and she's my wife, she's the best person I can pick to trust with so much money, investments and everything, without being involved into it, without being taxed for it, without being complicated for it, and with perfect ability to do everything by just talking to my wife. Some people think I'm insane, you're giving that power to your wife, and she gave me one born and alive kid, and she gave me one dead one that we lost at the end of the pregnancy, 2020, before the COVID. So there is no person that I trust more or I love more in this world except my wife and my kids. Even with apologies to all real friends, she's number 1, you are number 2, and the rest. So on 19th of February, after setup and changes of 3 lawyers and trying to explain what we want to do exactly, which is again not a standard, nobody did it ever before and nobody understands what is it. we are spending pretty significant amount of money for registering one company that's in Thailand. That's a startup company for nearly $4,000, but we are registering the company that is approved by DBT. And okay, you see here everything. And the company name is, I will give you the English name. And you can see here the name right under here. So BitShares Management Group Co. Ltd. The signing capital is 2 million baht, which equals to 66 and something thousand dollars. The only three shareholders are my wife and her cousin and her aunt. My wife is owner of 98% of the shares. Each of her relatives is 1% until we get the first and initial partners. The bank account is open. We have current savings and trading account. The stamp is real and it's really nice and neat, and it has the BitShares logo on it, which I'm proud the most. See? I will try to get it. Yeah, now it's visible. And I'll hit one so you can just see how it's going. So do this and then do this. Oh, I missed it. So this is how the stamp look like. It is authentic and real. The same stamp is in the book bank. The book bank already had $300 for the account opening paid, and the BitShares Management Group, the main company, is done. So it took us 4 months. The problem everywhere in the world is having a shares in the name of the company. So whoever designed the name BitShares haven't thought a bit about legal complications that they can have. Haven't done any due diligence. It was just, it will name BitShares, from Proto Shares to BitShares. Why it was not Proto Bit? It would be much more easy. But never mind. The name is catchy and I love it. I'm very proud. So the company in Thailand is done. This is the small company, and the company is now be ready to get really wild. Even everybody are expecting a dumb company that is doing some financial advisory or whatever. The company is doing the list of the things that I will paste in a bit. Files, and here it is. So just a second. The translation is not really perfect, but it's what it is for the time that I had actually, because I'm chasing most of the stuff that is currently going on, and most of it is my idea. And I cannot paste it into the chat because it's 4,573 characters long. So for anyone, it's in the BitShares group. just send you the link as soon as a little bit edits. Yeah, I can play some music if you're bored, everyone. I know it's late even in the US. It's getting late, I mean it's 8 p.m. It's not that late, but it's late. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the formatting in Telegram is really like a problem, so I don't have much more, but I have to do it or it will not really look nice or readable. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So you can visit the Telegram and you can read what the company is all about. So this is the paper that is in Thai original and that I'm waiting now for the certified translation for the investors. But 21 are listed here. 21. And that extra 3 are additionally added on the next page. Extra 2, sorry. With a stamp. So I'll try to explain the monkey version of the translation that you're reading now in Telegram group, and I'll explain like this. To buy, procure, receive, lease, hire, purchase, process, improve, use, or otherwise manage any property whatsoever, as well as the benefit thereof. So we are starting a company as not a crypto business, but as a real estate construction, logistic, import, export, farm, agro, whatever, many things business. First thing is that we can do for ourselves manage any property. We can also exchange, transfer, mortgage, and deal with the properties, same like agency. So it's not just about owning, buying, selling, it's about processing the other properties that we don't own. That we can be agent, broker, and have a commission in any transaction or businesses of all types, except for the business of insurance, member recruitment for association, and trading in securities still. But that's going to change because we are just registering with an SEC to be able to trade with securities and to be able to submit the security to the SEC. To borrow money or draft from account with bank, legal entities or other financial institutions, and to lend money or give credit by other means, with or without security, as well to accept, issue, transfer, and endorse bills of exchange or other negotiable instruments, except for the banking, business, finance, business, and credit, fund series, whatever. So we are having a peak of where we can. In Thailand, it's illegal to borrow money. Thai to Thai can do the loan with the collateral, without collateral, with the interest, without interest, with the company, without company. It's called Kaifak for the real estate properties. We want to do it legally as a company and to be able to stake someone property as a collateral for the assets on the blockchain. Since I know this is all sounds like science fiction and a big ICO scam from 2017, please bear with me until the end, there is more to it. Yeah, the Joe Baker's remedy report is that's correct, but we are starting from Thailand for a reason. And you can, as a US citizen, come to Thailand and marry to a wife or open a Thai company, and that company can come to our company and borrow money if you have anything to stake for as collateral. So you sitting in the US and doing that as a US citizen from a US ground, yeah, it's illegal. You coming here as a tourist or starting a business, it's not illegal, it's legal. So we are starting with the areas where it's legal. So I'm not going to where was Ronnie from? So I'm not hiding in the dodgy gray areas like others. So I can do some business for yeah, that can be sorted. If not, she have a big family. I'll go back to the list. We can have fun later. Uh, to establish branch offices or to appoint agents domestically or overseas. So we have the power to expand the company not just in Thailand but outside Thailand without any special permissions, letters or whatever. It was founded as a group, as a holding group, to be able to spawn more baby companies, how inside Thailand, that outside Thailand. So to become a partner with limited liability in a limited liability partnership or a shareholder in a private company and a public limited company, we can buy stocks, we can buy companies, we can become partners with the companies, and we will have responsibility while we are doing so. And that's pretty much normal. To engage in the business of construction buildings, commercial buildings, residential buildings, offices, roads, bridges, dams, tunnels, and all kind of construction, including civil works. So we are entering the construction business because the COVID-19 gave us a big leverage and opportunity to purchase a lot of land and to sign a lot of agreements on purchasing land, properties, equity for from 15 to 60% under the market price current one. Adding construction renovations to whatever we buy, and by not hiring other people, but by lifting our own, we are cutting the costs for a much. We are getting more opportunities to work for the other businesses and companies, and we are creating profits from the equity that is backing the blockchain in the future. So we have to do all. You cannot just do one thing. To engage in the business of hotels, restaurants, bars, nightclubs, so we can start any of those. BitShares hotel, BitShares restaurant, BitShares nightclub, or whatever. We own already one restaurant, but that will be disclosed later. To engage in a business of cargo and passenger transport and transit facilities by air, water, land, both domestic and international, including the services of cargo clearance at harbor according with custom procedures and all kinds of freight forwarding services. So we can do the logistics, both domestic and international, by air, sea, and land. We can transport not just things, we can also transport people. So limousine transportation, whatever, the real logistics, the carry and freight transport, all of that can be done now by BitShares brand in Thailand and internationally. To engage in the business of providing services of data collecting, collating, editing, publishing, and publicizing of statistics and information on agriculture industry, commerce, finance, marketing, including analysis and evaluations of businesses enterprises. So we plan to be able to go inside anywhere say anything we want, make a report on anyone who we want, including ourselves, and to not be stopped by any government while doing so. So if I want to say that I want to peg a farm of seeds with a QR code and tokenize them on the blockchain, and I make a news about it, nobody will come to arrest me. Why? I'm registered with the SEC, and I have a service that is saying me, yeah, you can do it. And I don't have to invent some dodgy way of how I will do it. I can do it just publicly. We can do it as a brand. We are doing it already now. It's just the point who will join the journey that we are already having for a while. To engage in the businesses of providing legal, accounting, engineering, architectural, including advertising services. So again, covered everything what we were missing and what we need still. To engage in the business of providing guarantee of debt, liabilities, and contractual performance of any other persons, including providing guarantees for individuals who travel into or out of the kingdom in compliance with the law of immigration, taxation, and others. I will be really plastic. So we can make a deal with someone outside Thailand. We can organize the transport, all the visas, the documents, the guarantees and stuff for someone to go from Thailand there to conclude the deal, or import someone from outside the world to Thailand to conclude the deal or to be employed. We will have no limitations on giving the work permits or the grants for people to be employed and to come to work in Thailand, and that's one of the long-term goals that I will not talk much about now, since this is just the last point of Rise of the Legend, where I will finish up most of the stuff and end this call. So, to engage in the business of providing consultancy and advisory services pertaining to administration, commerce, industry, and also production, marketing, and distribution. We want to do that, we love to do that, we are doing it on a daily basis. It's all part of one big ecosystem. And to engage in the business of being an executor, keeping benefits for other person. That means collecting the interest or doing the payment collection. To engage in the business of private hospitals, clinics, curing and caring for patients and sick people, and provision of medical and healthcare teaching and training. So we can start a hospital, a clinic, nursery, or even university where people can teach and train. To engage in the business of making and distributing motion pictures, cinemas, theaters, resorts, stadiums, swimming pools, and bowling. Everything licensed. So if you want to build a cinema, a theater, we will build it. If you want to create a movie and to say this is a BitShares motion picture, we can do it. If you want to just do nothing, we can also do that, but we were doing enough of nothing for a long time. To engage in the business of to engage in the business of providing services such as repairing, maintenance, inspection, application of rust-resisting agent for motor vehicles of all types, including such services as installation, inspection, and fixing of all kinds of safety devices. So we can fix cars, we can maintain the car, we can do the inspection, we can do the body work, we can do the whatever, we can do import for the BMW parts. We can open a BMW shop that will sell that parts, and then we can open a BMW service next to it, all under the BitShares management group and all under the BitShares brand, and nobody can stop us by doing so. Why? Because we are legal, we are legit. We don't have now the boundaries, and the more that the companies we are opening and the more license we apply for, the less boundaries we have. The less boundaries we have, the more traction we have. Also as well, with the coffee shop next to it, amazing cash. People will always go somewhere to pay just $3 to wash the car instead of fucking them by themselves for 3 or 5 hours. I love to wash my car, I like to wax my car, I like to take care of my car, but I'm not having all the time to do it. it's more like a holiday trip when I can do it and spend so many hours just doing the bloody card. So to engage in the business of barbering, hairdressing, beauty salons, not much important. To render the services of photography, photographic film developing and printing, photograph enlarging, including photocopying. Not really important, but it was part of the process and we were going for it. We will do some photography. I cannot disclose more how, when and what, but the BitShares brand is joining 44 different products, not joining, starting, and they will be in more than 12 industries. I'm aiming for 18. To engage in this is not important, to engage in a business of tendering and bidding for the sales of goods and hire of works in accordance with objective individual, corporate bodies, juristic persons, government authorities and organizations. We can organize a public tender, not just join it and do it, we can organize a public tender. So if a BitShares have a spare funds and it wants to invest into building a BitShares university, we can do a public tender. We will be offering some budget and people will be coming to do that for us. Or we could do it by ourselves. We can be the company that goes out on a tender and set up the tender for itself. We are licensed to do both things. Isn't that smart? So the law and the regulations are okay, and they're strict, and they're loose, and you can read and interpret them not just in 2 ways, in 50 ways. Why? Because they wrote it that way so they can manipulate it. We don't have to manipulate it, but we have to take the best advantage from it. In the meantime, we purchased the land, the villa, another house, a restaurant, another land. Some were deposited, some were full price, but for just the lands and for the equity investment and 4 cars by now, we invested $342,000 in total of our money, not of blockchain money, not of holder money. We haven't stolen any BAT, any BTS, any single dollar. This was all done by 2 people, me and one more guy that I'm still keeping in a shadow because that's his desire and his will that I will respect endlessly until I die. What's the next goal? The next goal is that we are going to disturb seriously the entire coin market cap in the world. The company that we started now is a BitShares management group, and it will not be managing the BitShares blockchain. It will be managing a fork of a BitShares blockchain that is being called BitShares MG. BitShares MG will be a blockchain that doesn't hold any coin. It holds a stock. So BTS MG will be the stock that will be private blockchain with the private access only to the stock owners who purchase the stock on the Thai stock market. The IPO that the company will go will aim to raise $75.5 million this year. The company that we are having now is looking for 1 or 2 partners with a limited investment, and that will be the only real partners of the entire project, and us who are doing everything. For the initial investment, we are looking less than $2 million, and that's to become the partner of this company. This one. I'm still having money from the profits, benefits, the deals and the trading that I've been doing for the last 4 months like crazy, the properties and the cars in equity that I'm purchasing and selling if I get the opportunity in the meantime, the tax that I'm paying and that I'm getting back from the invoices and the receipts that I'm collecting. So I'm doing quite a lot of work and I'm saving quite a lot of money. With raising quite a lot of equity that gives company already a value of close to with a 66,000 initial capital investment of 2 million baht and 342,000, we are getting over $400,000 worth of company. Net worth in terms of I say so, in the terms of I have payments, receipts, it's all being signed under company name, and company has a purchase agreements for everything what I was talking about now. You will not know the details. Nobody will know the details except the partner and until the launch comes, but they are all provable like anything else I did before for the BitShares blockchain. And for the last thing that I would like to say is that BitShares is not being centralized. It's the most decentralized technology around. It's the only technology that has the capability of being number one. It's not capable to serve the world, and it's not capable to serve even one country. And that's the reality of it. We speak about theoretical 100k TPS per second. We cannot do more than 4,600 per 3 seconds. That's 1,800 average per second. No, sorry, 1,600 per second. So what do we have here? I replied to this question in Bit from Telegram to 0101 and John, who is supporting the question. I have to finish the thought first. We are not starting something that will be pump and dump, and we are definitely not doing something stupid that will cost everyone their wealth and their time that we already lost. We are very picky for the investors. We will not be giving partnership to anyone or everyone. We are not greedy for the money, and we already said no to nine figures. 9 figures in dollars is a lot of money, and it's more than I want to raise for the main goal than through the IPO, public IPO, the stock offering. That 9 figures was more than I was asking for $75.5 million. But I had to say no because the investment comes from people that would be taking over the sovereign part of the blockchain that the people are holding now, and that centralized management that everybody are saying is still the most beautiful decentralized technology that works around the planet. It doesn't have the latency, it doesn't have the good hardware for the block producers, it's not being funded by the blockchain, it's not self-sustainable, it's a lot of not from what was it promised to be, but we are rebuilding it with our own 10 fingers, with our own money, and with our own time and belief, when nobody else did that. Even the holders that are holding now $50 million in BitShares are not doing that, and they never did it. They never invested even $1 in BitShares, not to say $400,000 into a project, and in less than 5 months. So the whole idea was to create a value in real life that can then be added to the blockchain. Not stop creating the value out from thin air and assigning it to the blockchain that doesn't have any value. What we call the free markets are the manipulated and the corrupted markets. The BitShares is listed on over 40 exchanges. More than 70% of them are Chinese. Exchanges are holding close to 800 million BTS. Enemies of the blockchain and the holders, the ex-holders and the current holders, are holding another 800 million of BTS. So we are talking that we have 1.6 billion of ill and problematic supply outside that is not in circulation, not giving any use case to the BitShares blockchain. It's only taking its time and making its toll to the potential success of the BitShares blockchain. So to fix this problem, we had to do some radical measures. One of the radical measures was to create this company, so we can have a legal entity when we can only talk to accredited and institutional investors that will understand what we are fighting here for. We are fighting here for the best technology that exists and that can serve millions of different industries and the requirements by the corporate world and by the modern finance and banking and the great reset that is coming. But we never did it before, and now we are doing it by ourselves. So it takes time. Everybody are asking all the time, when the website, when this, when that. There is less than 20 people that are working now on BitShares. 6 of them are paid by my job, second job that is not BitShares. So I'm employed on another project to have a salary that I'm adding to this and trading on a monthly basis for already 16 months. That's not really okay. To be alone, to be under the pressure, and to constantly do the right thing while everybody are telling you that you're doing the wrong thing. It's definitely not an easy thing to do, and it was not an easy choice to make, but we made it, and we made it without a blink in our eye. So a person asked me, do we have a plan? I said, yes, we do. What was the plan? This is the plan. How much you need? I need this much. Oh, I have this much ready. Oh, we have 3 times more than what we need. Okay. So this company is now being pushed, and we are finalizing the main partners of the business. Only the main partners will have ability to manage the entire project with me and with the rest. There will be no other partners. Once we go public IPO, the stock owner gets the access to the fork of BitShares. He can manage the project and the funds that the IPO will raise to, since we don't have the workers, the fork that will be the stock is the one that will create the workers and fund the BitShares blockchain, the original BitShares blockchain. So we found a way to create a zero genesis file with a new blockchain that will not be signed up as a coin, that will be registered as a stock, and that will represent and manage the original technology. That will pour in the funds back into the original technology that has no supply to sell and has no investor to take in, and has no option to go to regulations and say, yes, we are the blockchain and we want to register with an SEC. Let me take a look 2015 and 2016, please. Are you in some terrorist organization? Were you selling the guns, arms trader, the drug trader? Nobody can prove. There is no KYC, there is no details, there is no nothing. So there is no BitShares blockchain in terms of doing it directly to the government and to the legal. It's just not doable, it's not possible. Having a legal representative, a non-profit, having a for-profit that will be the management group for the BitShares brand, which includes the BitShares blockchain, is the only way to give back the life to the BitShares blockchain. Because there is no investor that will come and put money into the blockchain. Investors, accredited investors, want to know that their money is safe, that there are goals, terms, limits, objectives, that there is an interest or a designed number how much they need to get profit back, or it's in shares or it's in equity or whatever is the agreement. But they are not signing it just with the blockchain, because blockchain is immutable, permissionless, and whatever else Daniel Larimer claimed in those early days, which is not. Never was. It is immutable. It wasn't permissionless, and it's definitely not something that will fix corruption and bring back the financial freedom to the world. Actually, quite the opposite until the 5.0. So, for the final touch and discussion, whoever wants to know what's the DEX and the question what will be the DEX, no, we will not beat them. No, we have the new code, and no, we will have the new DEX. We are not touching the wallet. The wallet is still staying decentralized. The wallet is still staying normal, and wallet will never be touched. That's the BitShares blockchain. So we are not centralizing nothing. We are yes, opening a gateway that everybody else failed to do properly. Why I'm saying we are opening a gateway. There is a software now available on the GitHub that is sponsored paid against by me, and I started developing it last June. The developer is Light Presence, and the software is named on GitHub Graphene Python Gateway. They are open source, and they are first open source Python gateways for the Graphene blockchains. No open ledger, no GDEX, no anyone had ever any gateway open sourced, because then they could be fixed, they could be improved, they could be perfectioned, and they will never be faulty, and they could never have excuse how to steal our money. So since we have 6 years of history of gateways fucking it up, we will do our own, under our own brand, and yes, we will put it as an open source gateway that nobody else did, and we will put transparent liquidity inside it with more than $1 million. I don't remember Ronnie doing that. I don't remember CB doing that, and I definitely not even see now that DEXes having that liquidity. And they had a lot of money in the time. They were more interested in trading in profits instead of anti-business. Now they're all down and gone. I will not allow the BitShares blockchain be without supply, liquidity, volumes, or shine that he needs to have. And guess what? You know why liquidity is down? Because all the money is with the DEXes. So next thing what will happen, DEXes will be gone. And I will personally make sure the trademark and all the legal power that they have, remove the BTS from all dodgy and obsolete DEXes, and that Chinese and all that obsolete holders can finally dump their BTS, but we will be waiting and buying them with investing from the ripe. So this is not a market manipulation, this is a correct and proper product and a brand management that someone needed to do a long time ago. And nobody did, because nobody cared to make a brand or anything else normal. Everybody were looking just for profits. Why I need to create the value $1 when I just need to list it everywhere so I can sell it as much as possible? You know how it's easy to create the value of $1? Okay, you delisted BTS from all the exchanges. You take listed on BitShares, Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, Coinbase, BitCup. You have 7 markets. If you put to each and every market just $250,000, that's $1.5 million. I know 3 holders that are having each in their account that money now. They never allowed us to move money outside to the DEXes, because then they would not be able to destroy the money and the price of the BTS by doing what they are doing on the DEXes all along. So delisting from the DEXes, listing on few DEXes that are really meaningful and an important one, and forcing the entire fucking world back to the BitShares blockchain and to the DEX, where they can trade really fast, really reliable, and really okay. I don't remember OpenLedger having a legit company. I don't remember CB having a legit company, and I definitely don't remember a Spark DEX, BitSpark having a legit company. I remember that they had a financial advisory company registered in Hong Kong that was doing a money remittance. That's illegal. He can go to jail for it. I just need to write one report and to send it to a lawyer in Hong Kong. It's that simple. And it was that simple from 2018. And his ignorance, Ronnie's ignorance, everyone else's ignorance on my constant talking and saying, people, we need to go legit, we need to go legit. Where they are now. Did I move them away? No. Did I stolen your money? No. Did they stole your money? Yeah. Why you're complaining while I start the DEX? Go complain to them, where is the money? Go sign up a petition or do a legal class action as a group, as a community, unite, get those bastards down, get the money back. Why I have to do everything by myself and organize the entire BitShares blockchain, the brand, the core, the future, and to make 44 products, pay money from my own pocket, so others can make the business not by legit way, but by stealing and scamming the community that I'm trying to grow. That doesn't really have sense, yeah? No. So yeah, we will not allow that. and I will be an asshole forever. And whoever comes to just a little bit mess with the dials around the BitShares brand, he'll be removed, surgically removed, like cancer, like a benign tumor. You remove it so it not become malignant. That simple. So DEX will be the next. The Serbia is running the LLC company, and the three things that I want to quickly announce before I go to sleep, because it's 9 in the morning, is this BitShares MG fork of BitShares that will be a management product for the stock and for the BitShares management group. A real use case that will show the government and the world that the blockchain can be used in a management of a real business, that can be used on the stock market, that can be used to enter the stock market and to provide the stock market the HFT, high frequency trading, that they don't have. They have to call, they have to fax, they have to order, they have middle way through the agent, they have their own way that is limited by hours and by call. They cannot do it instantly. Now we are changing the game. Imagine you can trade stocks within seconds, in bunch of lots, and with very few or no limits apart from the working hours of the stock market in the country where you are trading. And we are not stopping there. We are getting the license in Wyoming, we are getting the license in Thailand, we are getting the license in EU, Seychelles to be more correct, because they are under the UK law without the UK restrictions. And we are going to make a boom. We will be licensed to trade the energies, the gold and silver, so the precious metals. And we will not stop there. The logistics, the fund, the restaurants. BitShares SL is a product that I cannot talk about much now. It's based on Starlink, the satellite internet, global internet by SpaceX, Elon Musk. And he warranted the latency between under 25 milliseconds across the entire globe. So we have Slovenia, Serbia, Thailand, Seychelles will be the next, UK, US, and few others. And we'll be launching one eco-friendly, power grid free blockchain on a PI that will be using satellite internet, and probably be one of the fastest blockchains around just because of the latency. We will use it as a pilot program for a public tender in Slovenia that we will start probably next month, and we will use it as a use case and a pilot program to see can we move the BitShares blockchain to the SL internet when it becomes available everywhere on the planet, because that theoretical 100 kbps would be probably possible if we have lower latency between the block producers or a more centralized infrastructure of the blockchain itself. BitShares restaurant, BitShares farm, BitShares loans, and few other domains are coming up. The ERC20 variant of BitShares is coming up, and Uniswap and Unicorns and Slow Ethereum, Vitalik, and all of you people that are trying to remove BitShares for the last 6 years, we are coming back and we are coming and entering your markets, and nothing can stop me in a legal way or in a physical way. And by the way, why I know I'm doing something right? 2 death threats, one from the Middle East, one from the Russia. Let's consider it both from the Middle East. I'm not afraid. I'm not from UK, I'm not from US, I'm not a kid, and I'm not a developer. And I not ended up in Thailand by running away from something, someone, or being scared. And I'm definitely not scared on a calls or on factors that don't know what to do anymore, but to call and to try the last resort of giving us stupid threats. If you have a problem, I'm publicly available and physically present, and I'm not giving up. Not for a day, not for a year, not for an hour, not for anything good that I'm doing. Not my wife, not any person that I know. I'm that should give you a pretty good sum about what's needed for me to stop on making the BitShares great again. You will need much more than a threat, and legally there is nothing. So I think that would be mostly it. Gateways, you can read the reviews, predictions, announcements, everything. I wrote it 2018, 2019, both on GitHub and on Steam profile at the time. And there was nothing. There was nothing. There was no gateways. There was no service or business. If you come to decentralized gateway DEX, such as OpenLedger, you deposit Steam from one graphene chain to another graphene chain, and then you wait 5 days to get that Steam. That's not business. And we all know that was not business. That was never business, and that will never be business. So we just stay, and we push, and we stay together. The NFTs, the ERC20, the TRC20, the open source gateways, it's all there. You can dig it, you can a little bit do your own research. I cannot say everything. I'm under some serious NDAs. I'm having a lot of enemies as the owner of the brand. Nobody likes BitShares, and nobody wants BitShares to stay forever or to come to number one. Because if Ethereum lose his capacity of being the number one token factory in the world and BitShares take over that, guess what will happen? We have a lot of top 50 competitors that know they are not a match to compete with us. And they were just enjoying the freedom given by absence of us. And now that the absence is gone and the rise of the legend is on the way. So if anyone have some more question except the DEX and the DEX part, and yeah, nobody owns the BitShares code except a bit more, and it's protected by the MIT license, so if you want to do something with it, he can do, and nobody can stop him, not even me. And again, when I say centralized management and decentralized blockchain, please don't ask me that again. Company that is open is to protect BitShares and make BitShares great, as you individuals without passports, papers, and everything else cannot do much. Even if you put cash inside and you buy tokens, you do nothing with them. You cannot take them out, you cannot withdraw them, you cannot put them to cash. So what use I have from the user that buys the BTS and that do nothing with it? I don't have nothing. That's it. So I don't need that user. You want to hold BTS, move away. Wait for the delisting, you will sell it anyway. You'll be buying. And what you can use it for, you'll be using for the payments online, for savings, for loans, for liquidity pools, for the trading on a DEX, whatever your choice. But you'll be using it, you'll not be holding it. You can hold a Bitcoin and a store of value such as Litecoin or even dumb Ethereum. But you cannot hold BTS. You cannot hold a token that goes faster than anything around. That's just stupid. Go and buy BTSMG stock and hold it. And when the stock goes up, like Microsoft, you sell it. That's it, pay the taxes on it. End of discussion. Global reset is coming. Cash will be gone. We were reviewed by the European Bank Commission in 2019 as one of the potential stablecoin solutions. Nobody know, nobody read, nobody discuss about it. When moon, when all-time high, for what? For you to make 200 times profit, dump everything, dump the price, and then I have to redo it again for 3.5 years. No. No. $1 price, okay. Why? Then we can issue stable coins. Then we can have a bit Thai baht. Why Thailand? Can you open it somewhere else? No. Can you register a stock somewhere else? Not that easy. Do you know how much is the cost to open a company? Not even that. Do you know how much risk the people who put their name on the company have? Legal and physical, life-threatening one. No. Do your own research. It's not that simple, and it's not that easy. And they already spend all the money, so I have to put from my own pocket. They took out $5.5 million in the last 5 years from the blockchain. It took 86,000 in total in 3.5 years. Do you understand that that's 28, $29,000 per year, which sums up to $2,600 salary per month. That's nothing. It's even less. It is $1,800 salary average per month. And it was not a little bit work. It was always too much. Not to mention that that money was not all for me, yeah? That was all of the workers that I took from, and most of that money went back in to the cost of the blockchain. I have to pay for the servers that I not stopped paying for 2018. I don't have 20 or 10, but I still have 3, 4, 5, 10. Email server for the BitShares.org, firewall, maintenance, marketing, Twitter marketing, Facebook marketing, all of that people are not seeing and asking why this is not done, why that is not done. It's being done by less than 10 people. Mostly done by me regarding everything else except core. Core is being done by Abit. There is none. BitCrab and DEX are friendly and they don't have a choice. They have to be on both sides. And I cannot globalize Chinese. It's not just Chinese. It's Dima Rudex, it's Thule, it's CN Vote, but not the entire group of CN Vote, only just leading a few idiots that are manipulating the rest. So I cannot. There is no Chinese involvement. There is no anyone involvement. Unless he's a accredited investor, he will not have any more a say in what happens to BitShares blockchain until 1 billion BTS is bought back, and half of it, minimum half of it, is burned back to the reserve pool and price is stable over 80 cents. Then anyone else can come and discuss how he wants to do and what he wants to do with the blockchain. Till that point, legal companies, DEXes, $5.5 million in 6 years, and nobody opened it. I'm sorry, guys. I just did it. And that's it. And I'm still putting money inside. I'm not asking anyone to invest or give me an ICO scam for Zobits, Robits, Zephyr, or whatever else. They took millions and then they dumped it all. From all of you who are now sitting and listening to me and discussing with me, I never took anything from you, any of you. I haven't put back to the blockchain. I even gave to the blockchain. So I'm not the enemy here. Chinese are people, same like everyone else. Few bad Chinese doesn't mean that the entire China is fucked up. We have few really bad seeds in Chinese group, yeah. But they grew roots that we cannot stop. We could stop them only by removing them from the blockchain. And we have a lot of steps now to be done before we can say the blockchain is 100% safe. And that's repurchase of the BTS, burn back to the BTS, setting up the DEX that will provide the liquidity and bring back the users to BTS, issuing the ERC20 token that will enter the Uniswap and all the other marketplaces where we cannot enter just because we are not Ethereum based token. We It all demands legal, it all demands investment. I cannot issue an ERC20 token if I not peg it to the Graphene original core token. I cannot issue more ERC20 token that I have bought as a company, not as a single user or someone individual. Supply of the real BTS, I have to present it transparently, and I have to be only swap or to give someone who is registered with an SEC to be the swap and the exchange operator. I have to maintain the peg. I have to maintain the gateways. Do you know how much gateways cost? Do you know how much people can maintain them properly? It's hell of a work, and it's plenty of work. Chinese are not enemies. See and vote, Rudex, Roni, individuals from those groups are enemies that are having a leading word. Same I'm having the leading word now in the community. And I'm not the enemy of the community, I'm not the enemy of the blockchain. I do have a leading word, and a leading word where we go to grow, we go to expand, we go to show the use cases, we show to prove the real value behind the blockchain with something from real life. Not, we have a balloon and now it's worth $1. No, we have $2-3 million worth of equity, and then we come and say, okay, we have a stock that is worth now $35. You think the coin will not follow? The BitShares stock on a time market or on a global stock market, if it has $35 price, do you think that the coin of BitShares will not follow the stock price? Or maybe the stock price will follow the coin price. What you've seen in the last 10 years in crypto is just a small fraction of the real world money, real world cash. Most of what you're seeing is a 24-hour trading volumes are wash trading, and that money is not real. They create 6 million volume with 200,000 real cash in one side and $200,000 worth of token on another side, and they are spending it all day, and 6 million, 8 million, 10 million, 20 million. There is no limit. They are not paying the fees, they are the exchange owners. You are paying the fees. I'm paying the fees. Why I'm paying the fees? Why I'm paying $50,000 for a listing of a token that is the next generation currency in the world, while he is earning the profits from it. He should be paying me, us, as a blockchain, $50,000 to give him the approval to list our token so he can earn the fucking fees from it on his own exchange. We are paying the listing and we are paying the fees. Are you all stupid? Did you ever done any work? Have you ever traded an apple for an orange? This has to be a little bit taught more than just, hello, that's it, we don't do nothing. No, we have to do many things. And it's not something so naive and something so simple that you can just do over a night, over a month, or over a day, or even a year. Please try to understand, people, that in this video I explained that the drama with the Chinese and the halt of the blockchain, the workers and entire consensus started in July 2019. From July 2019, from that day until September 2020, you are not seeing price of a BTS over 3 cents. They are pumping it to 7.5 cents and dumping it because of the MBS launch. And we are not seeing the price of above 2 cents until we are starting the company and announcing the corporate roadmap in November. And then the people are starting to trade. I never offered any pitch to any investor, I never asked to any investor, and all the accredited and institutional investors came to me by themselves. By themselves. They were looking on a BTS for far too long, and again, yeah. BitShares management group will manage the BitShares brand and will be the gateway who can invest, who can lock, and who can manage the blockchain. BitShares Management Group will be the company that will submit itself as a stock that will represent BitShares technology on a traditional stock markets where no other coin ever entered yet. Will be the first one. The company in Seychelles will be the company that will be another provider like DEX. The company in Serbia will be development provider for the code. The code owner is GitHub organization BitShares, and that code owner is the developer that writes the code. In this case, those two developers are Fabian Schuch and a bit more, who were given the ownership at the very own beginning, probably for a reason. So no, I'm not touching the code, I'm not taking anything that is not mine, but I'm protecting what is being damaged and corrupted, and the only way to do so is by having a companies around it. Do you remember? BitShares is a blockchain and we build companies on top of the blockchain. So I'm building more than just a gateway and another provider for trading. I'm building stocks, I'm building logistics on a blockchain, I'm building a lot of stuff, and for all of that I'm using the BitShares technology. So it will be stuck, powered by BitShares, powered by BitShares, powered by BitShares, powered by BitShares. And when you have 44 different products that are having a say powered by BitShares, and you are having a real life where people are using the BitShares to pay the bill, to order the food, to buy the stock, to trade it for gold, to order a thing from an e-commerce website, that's already a dreaming because BitShares never done it in the last 6 years. The company is for expansion, and it's not only one, it's just a mother one that will have all the paperwork to move more. And it cannot be done other way. If there was, I would be doing it, but there wasn't. And more companies will be spawned over the period of next 3 months. More companies are being purchased, by the way, in the last 2 weeks. So we are expanding to all the industries where the blockchain of BitShares and its technology can serve. So I'm not waiting anymore for traders, hodlers, and when someone will come to give me what I want. I'm going to present it, demo it, and offer it to the world, and that's it. And I'm doing it with a BitShares team who is managing the blockchain for 5 years. David Moore is a coder who is there from the beginning. It's not just me opening a company who want to take over the code. Code is free. You can fork it still. I can fork it. I'm forking it. For a reason to restore the value to original code and a product that never had. Not to restore, to create. So no, I'm not touching the code, I'm not touching the blockchain. ABIT will make sure that nobody can violate, annihilate, and abuse the blockchain or touch the reserve pool, and I will make sure that the reserve pool is getting fed with profits, investments in real life and real use cases from real life that will blockchain serve. And that's it. We are not waiting for Lambo. We are building one. We are not waiting to go to the moon. We are flying to the moon. And there is no anything that someone else will do for us better than we will do it for ourselves. So when it comes to the BitShares blockchain, I'm very sensitive, I'm very, very, very emotional, and I'm very protective. And I understand David after 3.5 long years why he was the same way when I came first time around. Because we spent too many hours around here working the stuff. Honestly, not for cash, because the bigger cash I was getting from the second job I had than from BitShares, and BitShares was always more cost to me than it was an income. So I really believe in what BitShares is, and I really believe in what I'm doing. And don't get it wrong in the terms that we want to take something out. if we wanted to take something out or take something for ourselves, we would be doing it on 10th of September. And witnesses would not be sharing 1 BTS reward per block, sorry, 0.1, but they would be sharing 10,000 BTS per block, because our idea then would be to steal the funds from the blockchain, not to give it back to the blockchain. So for anyone who has concerns what we are doing, and is it some takeover or centralization and takeover of everything, no, it isn't, but it's definitely a centralized management of the code, blockchain, and the product and the brand. Because decentralization and chaos doesn't work, as proven and written on the blockchain since its inception until last year. If no have any more questions, I will be off. This was really long, 2.5 hours to 40 hours stream, and it was my first stream in life. I never did this public. I never liked to do the public stuff and the speeches, but now I had to do at least a brief one, because everybody are asking and everybody are expecting and everybody are waiting for something that needs time, more time than you all want, and that's it. So we are getting approvals, we are getting registrations, it's all real cash is inside, real equity is inside, and real value is coming to the price of the BTS token. Thank you. I hope that I haven't insulted anyone. That was not my idea, or I had any perception. But I do like I do enjoy to insult ignorant people in various ways, and not to be perfect for doing so. Not even to care. Nobody was ignorant in the last 6 months. BitShares DAC group is having very positive community, very active community, very intelligent community that is thinking for itself, and it's making conclusion by itself, and it's not just taking the information for granted it is being given, which I like as a positive change into all of this. And yes, these pictures, and I really have to go to sleep unless you have some more questions, because this is now too much. I promise that I will come back and I will continue answering this. We can start doing this 1 time per week, 1 time per month. We can call more people to come and talk. I would be very happy to announce that Radio BitShares that was planned for 2019 but halted by the idiotic holders is coming back, so we'll have the Radio BitShares, and I plan to, if Fuzzy is not willing, at least to have 1 core developer and to provide updates on a weekly level regarding the development and the progress of the blockchain and the ecosystem itself. I will, I promise. So guys, you already seen when I started video it was night, it was dead night. Now it's a daytime. I enjoyed sharing the story. I'm stressed when I talk about it, and it's not because I'm angry with something, but I really don't appreciate injustice and corruption and not being fair, and majority of people and holders around crypto are showing that on a daily basis with zero respect. So thanks to everyone. If you have any more questions, I think you can leave the comments, and I believe that YouTube video, just a second, I believe that YouTube video will stay. Joe, appreciate it. I need any boost. Coke is not helping anymore. So that's it. We had an excellent connection. We had nice amount of playbacks. chat rate is cool for the first. I mean, this is not really my thing, shows and stuff. I have to find someone else. So thanks to OBS software, thanks to YouTube, thanks to everyone. Have a good night, guys, in the US. Have a good morning somewhere else, China, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, Australia even. And I hope yeah, the deep state would be the best way to call it. Yeah. Nothing. That would be it. I'm off. Have a good night, guys. I'm turning off, and we are continuing. My wife will travel probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow, not more late than Monday, to the north of Thailand. We are buying more land. We'll organize a charity day for the place where she was born. We will be giving some BitShares shirts. Yeah, I did quite a few hundreds of white and black ones, and we'll be doing because of the COVID, the economy crisis and everything what happened due to the COVID. We'll be giving the free food. She's a chef by skill, so she'll be cooking food her family in a public. Everybody will wear BitShares shirts. Everybody who comes with an app and register account to understand and eat food will enjoy the shirt and the 100 BTS given by the company, to learn a little bit about BTS, to learn a little bit about the cryptocurrency, and to hold the BTS until it goes to $1. You have to remember those are all simple people without much education, without much opportunity to understand how the smartphone is even being used, not to understand what's cryptocurrency or what will replace the cash and the coins. They actually got used to it for last 50 or 100 years. So we'll be doing a lot of stuff that are not really normal in crypto. I'm following the best practices that world already seen. Some from Einstein, some from Bill Gates, some from... I'm not doing nothing that someone not did already. They did it for a wrong reason probably, and they were bad people when they were doing it, but I'm not. And I just know it works from their examples. So I'm following the corporate education that I've been given by the experience of others and by the moves and actions of others, and I have it plenty of myself. So I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about the people who are working with me, because I will use this for the last thing for tonight, for today. I really apologize to all the people, investors, partners, colleagues and friends, and even family, that constantly has to wait for me, that constantly has to be in some stress that is caused by my delays, by my inability to disclose all the details on delivery or on the things that I'm doing. I keep it really for myself, not because I'm greedy or I'm selfish or something, but because the information is more valuable than anything, and risking the information to leak when it's so valuable, it's just not something that I allow myself. So maybe I will spend more time to deliver something or to give you an answer, but I have to be 100% satisfied and okay with myself before I do say or promise that I will do anything. And when along the way things start changing, if I become quiet, it doesn't mean I'm giving up, it doesn't mean I'm off, it doesn't mean I'm away. That just means I am working hard in my head to find another solution for a new problem that came up. And nobody will knew about that problem, nobody will knew about the solution, but everybody will see that everything is going on still. And that's the important part, how the Queen said, the show must go on. So good night, guys. Thanks everyone. Stefan, Joe, Brandon, Lana, or Ian, or Lane. I'm not sure. Thank you. You too. And that will be it. Enjoy, guys. Until next new